In our last episode, we continued the Baja Ha-Ha with some squally weather, saw a rainbow at sea, and partied it up at Bahia Santa Maria. But then, Tropical Storm Raymond threatened the fleet. In this episode, the Ha-Ha finally comes to an end. We arrive in Cabo San Lucas and celebrate at the famous Squid Row. But the next day, Raymond hits.
So Bubba, what do you think? We're going to be on dry land soon. Yeah, you've been stuck here in the cockpit with the boat bouncing all over the place. Rolly, rolly, rolly. But pretty soon, you're going to be on dry land. No more having to do your piddles and poo-poos on this silly little pad here. You're going to be doing them on dry land. Let's get a look at what that dry land looks like.
Yes, we were really here. We'd made it to Cabo. The only downside was that at this point, because of the impending storm, the fleet had split up, so only about a third of the boats were in Cabo. For the first time in the Ha-Ha's 26-year history, Leg 3 was essentially canceled. But that didn't dampen our enthusiasm for actually getting there. Seeing El Arco, the iconic and unmistakable rock formations on the tip of the Cape, was yet another moment I will never forget.
We're pulling into Cabo. Behind me you can see the famous Cabo rocks and the famous Cabo Arch. And I can't believe we're here. It's been a hell of a ride.
We'd sailed approximately 750 miles through squalls and rough seas, our first ever multi-day passages on Juliet. That was worthy of celebration. Charlie was bushed, but I was not going to miss the end of the Ha-Ha party at the famous, or should I say infamous, Cabo watering hole known as Squid Row. Established in 1989, Squid Row is the largest nightclub in town, with 3 floors and 5 full bars. It's like one huge house party with an MC to whip the crowd into a dancing frenzy, including on top of tables and on their famous dance platform. Along the way, I ran into the crew of Boundless, who adopted me for the night. And then I ran into my former dancing buddies, Christina from the vessel Christina Marie, Jacques from Jacques Bateau, and Lisa from Winston. And the fun really started. We danced all night long. And yeah, you didn't think I was going to skip an opportunity to dance on that platform, did you? Okay, so there we were in Cabo. Thing is, we don't really like Cabo. It's just not our scene. And we were reminded why at the crack of dawn the next morning when the real Cabo lovers showed up, the sport fishermen. And suddenly, the harbor was transformed into rush hour. I think we would have loved Cabo 30 or 40 years ago, when it looked like this. That day was supposed to be the Ha-Ha Awards ceremony, but the impending storm put an end to those plans. Instead, we all picked up our awards at a nearby restaurant, where we learned how we did in our respective divisions. And that's when we found out that somehow we won our division. What? Yes, that's a blue ribbon. We thought we were last. We still haven't figured that one out. After days of warnings, scary predictions, and messed up plans, the storm was finally about to hit. The marina in Cabo did a phenomenal job of getting every boat possible into a slip or side tied to a dock to ride it out, and then they closed the port. And things started getting rough. The boats on the side ties towards the outside of the marina had it the worst, bouncing around wildly as the waves rolled in. We were lucky to get our own slip and not be side-tied or shoved in between two other boats, but it got rough for us too that night. And then the rains came, and yeah, they were torrential. That night and the following day were the worst of it, and I had to go out in it. I'd brought our laundry in to be done when we first arrived, as we honestly had no clean clothes to wear. I had to wade through brown rivers in the streets to get to the laundromat to pick it up. Not a smart move. And now the Ha-Ha is officially over, and we are officially cruisers, moving on to the next phase. The fleet was scattering, some heading back to California, others on to other ports in Mexico. Our plan, along with several other Ha-Ha boats, was to get to La Paz in the Sea of Cortez. We had to wait nearly a week in Cabo before the port opened, but we left the moment we could. We'd intended to stop at 2 or 3 anchorages along the way, rather than doing any overnight sails. We were kind of done with those. But we ended up bypassing Frailes entirely, as the conditions appeared to make it rather lumpy in there, which meant we had to sail all the way to Los Muertos, meaning another anchoring in the pitch dark. But hey, I mastered that. We had a lovely stay there, and then we headed out again.
It's beautiful sailing. It's a busy little channel, a lot of fishing pangas. There's a boat anchor coming at us on the starboard side. And it looks like we've got about 8 or 10 Ha-Ha boats heading towards the Paz.
It was fun to be sailing with some of the Ha-Ha fleet again, this time entirely on our own schedules.
Here's Leanne setting her hand line, which almost always seems to knot up when we go to deploy it. But
That's because I don't have a spool, which I need to buy. I have a new lure, a purple and black feathery lure, which is supposed to be what the yellowtail are biting on, and that's what I want, is a yellowtail. So we'll see what happens.
secure this line back, and hopefully we'll catch a fish. What do you think?
I hope so, because I'm hoping for a fish dinner tonight. That's actually on the menu. So if I don't catch a fish, I don't know. We'll eat something else. Yeah, this guy's awful close to us, but it appears that he's gonna hug closer to the island, and we're all hugging closer to the Baja Peninsula. So I think he's going to give us a wide berth. Well, not a wide berth, not wide enough, but far enough away. Where are we?
Canal de Lorenzo, which is the canal between a point off La Paz and this island over here with the red colored hills. And right around the corner is a nice little cove, and then beyond that is the approach to La Paz. And I think we're going to go ahead into La Paz just to get settled and take advantage of the nice conditions.
So we're headed into Bahia Vilandra, Puerto Vilandra, which was not originally on our plan. We were going to go to La Paz all the way, but another boat just told us that there's going to be a meteor shower tonight at about 9 o'clock-ish. And then I read in the chart book that there's a great reef for snorkeling. And every other Ha-Ha boat, it seems, that's on the same track with us is going into this little anchorage. It also says it's a picture-perfect anchorage with white sand beaches. So I just see no reason to skip it. La Paz can wait one more day.
We pulled into the anchorage at Vilandra and discovered one of the most picturesque spots we'd ever seen.
Here we are anchored in, I had to think for a second, Puerto Vilandra, with a whole bunch of other Ha-Ha boats, as you can see behind me. And I went snorkeling. We picked up another boat whose dinghy outboard is not working, and the boat right behind me right there, Winston. And their little dog needed a run on the beach, just like Bubba did. So we got our dinghy in the water, swung over there, picked them up, brought them ashore, and let the dogs run around for a while. And then I went snorkeling, and it's a beautiful reef here. It's brilliant orange coral, lots of gorgeous, colorful reef fish. The usual suspects that you see on coral reefs. There was a trevally, a couple of grouper, some surgeonfish, various other colorful fish, parrotfish. It was really, really nice. I was surprised to find such a gorgeous reef here in this little anchorage. And tonight, I do not have any fish. I did not catch any fish yesterday or today. I'm a little ticked. But oh well, I'm still new at this, and the fishing, I guess, is just not as good here as it was on the other side, outside of the Sea of Cortez. So, but I do have a bunch of fresh vegetables that I picked up in Cabo. I've got some tofu, I've got some coconut milk, and some curry powder and curry sauces. So I'm gonna make a tofu curry stir fry for dinner. And right now I'm gonna sit down and relax with a glass of white wine and just enjoy this gorgeous anchorage.
And this was the view from my cockpit. Puerto Vilandra is home to the famous mushroom rock known as El Hongo. It has a small, brilliant white sand beach and sparkling blue waters, and is surrounded by tall, colorful cliffs. That evening, we started to really get a feel for what life is going to be like living on the Hook. It's not easy. There's a lot of work involved. Things don't always go as planned. But this is what we're doing this for. Picture-perfect anchorages, incredible snorkeling, friendly neighbors, and of course, as always, eye-popping sunsets. The next day was just a short sail, and we were in La Paz. But wait, the Ha-Ha still wasn't done with us. The organizers, along with the community of La Paz, puts on a welcome party for the Ha-Ha boats who make their way there. And man, they do it right. The city pulls out all the stops, providing us with dinner, cervezas, dignitaries making speeches, and traditional folk dancing. This wonderful evening ended with us being serenaded by a mariachi band in the sand. And now we're in La Paz, where we're planning on staying put for several weeks to get some upgrades done on the boat. We're currently at Marina Costa Baja, a luxury marina filled with big boats and lined with shops and restaurants. And let me tell you, after 2 weeks of sailing down the remote Mexican coast, this is taking some getting used to. La Paz is the capital of the Baja Peninsula. and it's a huge seaside city with a lovely beach promenade, lots of Christmas decorations, and lots of traffic. Come back next week to see what life is like for us in La Paz, and to check out some of the upgrades we're doing to the boat, such as this beautiful new stainless steel arch. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed it, please subscribe.